Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the powerful software that quietly runs the world's biggest companies, Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP. You can think of it as the secret weapon against a massive hidden problem that can bring even corporate giants to their knees. I'm talking about internal chaos. I mean, really think about that for a second. How does a global brand get that one specific thing you ordered from a warehouse halfway across the world to your front door in just a couple of days? How do they keep track of millions of items and thousands of orders all at the same time without the whole thing just falling apart? Well, the answer lies in solving a really fundamental puzzle about how businesses are organized. So before we can even get to the solution, we've got to understand the problem. And for a lot of companies, it starts with the very way they're built. You see, they often get in their own way, sometimes without even realizing it. Okay, so what you're seeing here are two totally different ways to look at a company. On the left, you've got the classic functional structure. You know this, it's the org chart with neat little boxes. Sales, warehouse, accounting. Everyone's a specialist in their own little world. But the right side shows how work actually gets done. It's a business process. It flows across all those departments to get one thing done, like getting a customer their order. And when a company only sees itself in those neat little boxes, you get this: information silos. Just think of each department as its own little island. It's got its own tools, its own spreadsheets, its own version of the truth. Sales has one system, the warehouse has another, and accounting has a third. And the key problem? They don't talk to each other. At least, not easily. So what does this mess actually look like in the real world? Let's just follow a simple order. First, sales takes an order and prints it out. Then, someone literally has to walk that piece of paper over to the warehouse. The warehouse team does their thing, they pack and ship the item, and then they send another piece of paper over to accounting. And what does accounting do? They have to manually retype all of that information into their system just to send the bill. Every single one of those handoffs is a chance for a delay, a lost paper, or a typo. It's just so slow and risky. Okay, so how do you fix that? How do you break down those walls between the islands and get everybody on the same page? Well, this is where the hero of our story comes in, the ERP system. It is the great integrator. At its heart, an ERP system is really just a huge, ambitious effort to integrate all of a company's different functions into one single computer system. No more islands. We're talking about one giant continent of information, one central source of truth that every single department can see and use. Seriously, if you remember just one word from all of this, make it this one: integration. That's the entire goal. To weave together every part of the business, finance, HR, the supply chain, you name it, so they all work together as one. And a modern ERP doesn't just stop at the company's own walls. Nope. It extends out to connect with key suppliers and even customers, and it's all built on that one shared database. Plus, it usually comes with a set of best practices built right in, which are basically proven, super efficient ways to do common tasks. It kind of guides companies toward a better way of working. All right, so let's see what happens when we apply this to that clunky paper-pushing process we saw earlier. This right here is the aha moment. This is where you really see the power of integration. First, just a quick reminder of the all the way, right? Sales takes an order, paper gets walked over to the warehouse, they ship it, another piece of paper gets sent to accounting, who finally, eventually, creates the invoice. So many steps, so much waiting. Now look at the ERP way. It is a total game changer. Step 1, sales enters the order into the shared system. That's it. The very instant they hit save, bam, the warehouse is automatically notified. The second the warehouse scans that package as shipped, bam, accounting is automatically told to send the invoice. All those manual handoffs, the delays, the risk of human error, they just vanish. It becomes this seamless, automated flow. And the result? Complete visibility. Sales can see the exact moment an order ships. The warehouse knows what to pick without waiting for some piece of paper, and accounting knows exactly when to bill. This coordination doesn't just slash delays, it helps you manage your inventory so much better. The whole operation just becomes incredibly efficient. So that transformation is pretty amazing. But it's not magic. So how does an ERP system actually pull all of this off? Let's pop the hood for a second. It really comes down to the system playing 3 core roles for the business. Here they are. First, the ERP is the engine. It helps execute the process by automating steps and telling people what to do next. Second, as all that work is happening, it's constantly capturing and storing every little piece of data in that central database. And third, it uses all that data to help managers monitor performance. And that monitoring piece is really powerful because it works on two different levels. You can zoom way in to the instance level and track one specific order for one specific customer. Where's my package right now? But you can also zoom way out to the aggregate level and ask those big strategic questions like, what's our average shipping time this month and why is it getting worse? It lets you spot both the tiny fires and the huge forest fires. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but what's the bottom line? Why do companies spend millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars on these giant systems? Let's look at the ultimate payoff. Well, the data is pretty clear. The top reasons companies do this are 1, to finally get a single view of their financial information, and 2, to get a single view of their customer order information. Right behind that, they want to standardize and speed everything up. And of course, they want to reduce how much cash is just sitting on a shelf, tied up in inventory. And once the system is in place, the benefits inside the company are huge. You get that single source of real-time data we keep talking about. Suddenly, everyone's using the same definitions for things, which cuts out so much confusion. All of this leads to a direct boost in productivity, lower operating costs, and way better communication between departments that barely used to talk. And all that good stuff happening on the inside, it creates powerful results on the outside. Customers get better, faster service, communication with your suppliers becomes a breeze. All of it makes the company a stronger competitor in the market, which, at the end of the day, drives up sales and profits. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. In a world that's only getting faster, more global, and way more complex, can any large company really compete anymore without a single source of truth? Or is trying to operate without one just managing chaos until the day it all collapses?